This is Byram Som bringing you the highlights of the Philadelphia Eagles' 1947 football season. Under Coach Greasy Neal, these powerful Eagles won the Eastern title of the National Football League. Now let's see how they did it. Flashing mid-season form, the Eagles clashed with the New York Giants at Shibe Park. Eagles ball, kick formation. Joe Muha gets off a kick taken by Frank Regan, who is run out of bounds on the 20-yard line. Lady Luck steps in, and the Giants get crossed up in their signals. George Frank rushes back to recover the pigskin. But it gets away from him. And Muha snares it and takes it over for the Eagles' first touchdown. The Eagles take to the air as Tommy Thompson fades to pass. He heaves one downfield, but it's intercepted by Regan on the Giant 42. And he makes a brilliant run back, only to fall on the Eagle 21, and the Giant attack stalls. The Eagles are knocking at the Giants' goal again. An off-tackle drive by Ernie Steele is good for a touchdown. Smart quarterbacking pays off as Thompson on a sneak powers over for touchdown number 3. From the 11-yard line, Cliff Patton is back and boots a perfect placement, and the Eagles win 23-0. Out in the Windy City, the Eagles find the going rough against the mighty Chicago Bears. The Bears open up with aerial fireworks as Sid Luckman heaves a perfect pass to Ken Cavanaugh to rack up a 74-yard scoring play. The Eagles rebound as Thompson spots Neil Armstrong in the clear, and it's good for 24 yards. The same combination pays off again as Armstrong takes Thompson's pass, but he's nailed at the 5-yard line and fumbles. Ernie Steele recovers for the Eagles, but the Bears halt the drive at this point. Again, Sid Luckman's great passing pays off as Mike Jarmaluk takes the pigskin in stride to rack up another Bear tally. George McAfee sets up another Bear touchdown as he cuts over the left side of the line for 5 yards. This time, Nick Stacrinti is tossing the ball. On the receiving end is Jim Keene as the Bears defeat the Eagles 40-7. From the start that they will be a title contender. Steelers ball. Operating out of the single wing, Johnny Clement shoots a screen pass out to Tony Campagno, and behind excellent downfield blocking, Campagno scampers 39 yards to pay dirt. The Eagles attack via the air lanes as Thompson scores a direct hit to Pete Pihos, good for 43 yards and an Eagle touchdown. Here's a sample of the Eagles' smooth functioning ground attack on a well-executed reverse. Van Buren breaks away and shows how to run the open field. Finally, he's forced out on the 2-yard line. From the 14-yard line, Patton boots a field goal, and it looks as though the Eagles are on their way to another victory. Here's one of those plays that a coach dreams about. Thompson fades to pass and heaves a perfect toss into the waiting arms of Bosch Pritchard, and the fleet halfback heads goalward to complete a 69-yard touchdown play. The Steelers come right back with power plays as Clement smashes off tackle for a Pittsburgh tally. The Steelers clinch the ball game on this delayed pass play from Clement to Bill Garnett. Final score, Steelers 35, Eagles 24. The famed Los Angeles Rams meet the Eagles in a hard-fought battle at Shibe Park. First play, Bob Waterfield of the Rams fades to pass. Downfield, Jim Benton takes it for a 25-yard advance. Again, it's Waterfield. Back to pass, but into the picture steps Ernie Steele to snatch the pigskin out of the air and make a brilliant 44-yard return. On a wide sweep to the right, Van Buren is touchdown bound as the Eagles take the lead 7-0. Relying on the passing ability of Bob Waterfield, the Rams strike back. Howard Hickey takes the pass and advances the ball to the Eagles' 25-yard strike. Again, it's Waterfield in the passing role. But the aerial boomerangs as Ben Kish moves in to intercept and run the ball back 36 yards before being forced out of bounds. The Eagles move into scoring position on this perfectly executed pass from Thompson to Van Buren, which carries all the way down to the 15-yard line. On a quick opening play, Van Buren blasts through to the 1-foot line. On the next play, Tommy Thompson plunges over to put the Eagles ahead 14-0. The Rams hit the comeback trail. Wayne Hoffman cuts inside tackle and into the clear. And when he's finally pulled down, it's a 21-yard gain. Kenny Washington takes over the ball-carrying assignments for the Rams, and he cuts around the right side of the line to pick up 15 more yards. The Eagles are ball hawks as another Ram aerial is intercepted by Gil Stanky. Here's a sample of Ram power as Hoffman batters his way through the line all the way down to the 4-yard marker. On a quick handoff, Hoffman smashes his way over for the lone Ram tally, but the Eagles take the game 14-7. Down in the nation's capital, the Eagles clash with the Redskins for the second time and emerge victorious. Redskins ball, kick formation. From the left side of the line, Pete Pihos charges in to block a Sammy Baugh kick, and he steals the pigskin and romps 30 yards for a touchdown. Here's some razzle-dazzle Eagle style. Thompson whips the pass to Armstrong, and he laterals to Steele, and before the Redskins know it, the ball is on the 10-yard line. Pete Pihos is indeed having himself a day. For this time, he's on the receiving end of a Thompson pass, and the Eagles tally again. The Redskins go into high gear. Sammy Baugh flips the ball to Bob Nussbaumer, and the former Michigan star makes a spectacular 48-yard run to the 6-yard line. Sammy Baugh's pitching arm goes into action. Down in the end zone, Eddie Steins takes it for a Redskin score. The Eagles show that they're just as dangerous on the ground as in the air, as Van Buren, the league's best ground-gaining back, skirts right end on a reverse, and he's off to the goal line. It's that man Van Buren again on the rampage. This time, Steve takes the pitch out from Thompson and zigzags his way for 37 yards to score again for the Eagles. Back to pass goes Tommy Thompson. Far down the field and in the clear is Jack Ferrani, who takes the pass and steps off the remaining 15 yards as the Eagles assume a commanding lead. Undaunted, the Redskins fight on. Jim Ewell heaves one goalward. Interference is called on the play, and the Redskins take over on the 3-yard line. Ewell crashes over on a quarterback sneak, but it's the Eagles' victory, 38-14. In a game loaded with thrills, the Eagles take the measure of the New York Giants for the second time at the Polo Grounds in New York. Eagles ball. Thompson shoots a flat screen pass to Pritchard, and the speedy halfback is off on a 34-yard run behind excellent blocking. Now the Giants are on the move. Paul Governelli in the passing role, and he heaves to Jim Poole, who is behind the Eagles secondary, and this play covered 59 yards. The old master Ken Strong is set for a placement, and there it goes, good for 3 points. Out of the tee, Van Buren swings wide around right end. Keep your eye on Steve as he goes over that goal line. That's blasting your way over. Striking through the air, the Giants bounce right back as Governelli connects to Gene Roberts in the clear. When they finally nail him, he's picked up 27 yards. It's Governelli again heaving the leather, and this time it's a Giant touchdown in the making as Vic Carroll snares the oval at the goal line and steps over. From the 17-yard line, Pat McHugh takes Thompson's handoff, and the former Georgia Tech star threads his way down the sidelines into pay dirt for an Eagle score. Still on the move, the Eagles' ground attack is hit touchdown. The Giants are caught off guard by this Eagle deceptive screen pass. Thompson to Pritchard, and Bosch, once in the open, is headed for the goal line for his second touchdown of the game. The Giants take to the air in an all-out attempt. Governelli is pitching strikes as George Cheverko takes the toss in stride, and he's finally yanked out of bounds by Noble Doss after a 63-yard gain. Here's a sample of excellent faking tactics as Governelli fakes the pass. George Frank breaks into the clear to snare it for a Giant touchdown. The Eagles put over their final touchdown on a beautifully executed pass from Thompson to Ferrati and wrap up the ball game 41-24. The Boston Yanks pay their 1947 visit to Shibe Park, and the Eagles go all out to rack up a 32-0 victory. Behind excellent pass protection, Thompson spots Ferrati far down the field and lets go with a perfect toss. Keep your eye on Ferrati. He may be down, but he's not out. The Yanks flash offensive maneuvers as Boley Dansowitz rivals a long aerial to Hal Chrysler, good for 36 yards. On a well-executed trap play, Van Buren crashes through the big hole in the Yank line to pick up 11 yards. Here's Deception Plus with Al Sherman holding and Patton kicking. The fake place kick catches the Yanks secondary off guard, and Sherman promptly skirts right in for 16 yards. Yanks ball, kick formation. Downfield, Ernie Steele gathers in the ball, and watch him run in the open field. A brilliant 40-yard return all the way down to the 9-yard line, and the Eagles are attacking that goal again. Bill McCready's, now quarterbacking the Eagles team, is back to pass. On the receiving end is Armstrong, good for another 6 points. The Yanks fight back with some razzle-dazzle. Bill Pascal takes the aerial. Trapped, he laterals backward to Johnny Grigas, who snares it, but it's not enough as the Eagles chalk up their 6th victory. In a return engagement at Boston, the Yanks come to life and almost blast the Eagles out of the pennant race in a stirring 21-14 victory. The Yanks serve notice that they are out to win as Dansowitz scores a strike to Chrysler. Again, it's Dansowitz back to pass. He's almost thrown for a loss by Ace Prescott, but finally lets it go with a 45-yard touchdown aerial that pays off, and the Yanks lead 7-0. The Eagles try the air route. Thompson's pass down the middle is promptly intercepted. Yanks ball, kick formation. Here's the boot. It's a long one down the field. It's taken by Pat McHugh, and keep your eye on this golden tornado as he reels off 67 yards for an Eagle touchdown. The Yanks fight back. Dansowitz heaves to the goal line, and the pass just eludes the outstretched fingertips of Frank Sino to fall incomplete. Again, Dansowitz fades to pass. This time, the ball is batted down by two alert Eagle defenders at the goal line. The Yanks are not to be denied, for here we see Dansowitz throwing a perfect toss into the arms of Joe Golding, and the boys from Boston take the lead once again, 14-7. Trailing by one touchdown, the Eagles rely on Thompson's pitching arm, and here we see him flip one into the arms of Neil Armstrong. He's finally down to the 9-yard marker. Tommy Thompson calls on Steve Van Buren, and Steve powers his way to the 1-yard stripe. This time, Van Buren can't be stopped, and he crashes over, and it's anybody's ball game from here in with the score tied 14-14. The Yanks immediately go to the air, but Dansowitz's pass is intercepted by Russ Kraft to stop this offensive thrust. Eagles on the move. On a well-executed reverse, Pritchard breaks into the clear momentarily, and it looks as if he's off to the end zone, but he's finally dropped after a 30-yard run. Now the Yanks march in a final attempt to score. Dansowitz completes a delayed pass to Jim Mello, and the former Notre Dame star reels off 31 yards before he's dropped to the turf. Boston gains momentum on this bullet pass over the middle, completed to Chrysler. Here's the play that brings victory for the Boston Yanks, as Dansowitz, finding his receivers covered, elects to run, and he scores, and the Yanks pull an upset to beat the Eagles 21-14. In a hard-fought contest at Shibe Park, the Eagles regain their winning form and also first place to topple the Pitt Steelers 21-0. Eagles ball. Van Buren gets the call and from the 7-yard line moves down to the 2. And Thompson calls on Van Buren. And against a stubborn Steeler line, he picks up at best a yard. From the 1-yard line, Van Buren can't be stopped as he plows over on a quick opening play, and the Eagles lead 7-0. Deep in their own territory, the Steelers kick. Down the field, Ernie Steele gathers in the pigskin. Halted momentarily, he squirms from would-be tacklers and races down the sideline in a dazzling 40-yard run. The Eagles are moving goalward as Van Buren, on a cross buck, picks up 7 yards. Sticking to the ground, Thompson sends Muha up the middle. Once in the clear, he's off on a 28-yard sprint. Keep your eye on Ernie Steele on this play as he takes the handoff from Thompson. And he cuts through tackle and out into the clear. 50 yards in all he travels before he's hauled down from the rear. Still relying on their ground attack, The Eagles send Choo-Choo Machachik around left end, and he blasts his way down to the 1-yard line. On a quarterback sneak, McReady's racks up the final touchdown, and the Eagles win 21-0. A capacity crowd jammed Shibe Park to see the Eagles and the Chicago Cardinals battle it out. The Eagles are first to threaten as Van Buren gets the ball and goes wide to the 4-yard line. Again, the Birds rely on Van Buren, and he goes over for the first score of the game. The Cards break into the scoring column with a 14-yard field goal by Pat Harder. Later in the second period, the Cards are knocking at the Eagle goal. Marshall Goldberg is stopped after a yard advance. Paul Chrisman, quarterbacking the Cards, calls on Charlie Trippi, and the Georgia back fights over, and the Cards lead 10-7. The Cards start another march goalward as Chrisman passes it to Trippi in the flat. Trippi evades 3 Eagle tacklers and breaks away on a 58-yard run, finally stopped on the 13-yard line. From the 1-foot line, Chrisman sneaks over for another Cardinal score. The Eagles attack by the air as Thompson shoots a screen pass out to Russ Kraft. And watch the Alabama star run the pigskin. 60 yards in all, and that's really carrying the mail. An Eagle pass boomerangs as Thompson's aerial is gathered in by Mal Kuttner, and he's away for 56 yards. Down in scoring territory once again, Chrisman fades to pass. There it goes into the arms of that same Mr. Kuttner, and the Cards have scored again. The deadly passing of Thompson pays off. Pihos takes it at the line of scrimmage and breaks away on a 25-yard touchdown gallop. Those Cardinals are at it again as Harder is stopped for no gain. This time it's a fake into the line, and Harder takes the pigskin around right end for another 6 points. There's no stopping the Cards as Charlie Trippi intercepts one of Tommy Thompson's aerials, and in a flash, he's off on a 60-yard scoring spree. The Eagles' final tally is racked up. Thompson lost a perfect pass to Kraft, but the Cardinals win the game 41-21. Back in the winning column go the Eagles as they take on Curly Lambeau's highly touted Green Bay Packers. Packers ball, Jack Jacobs passing. It's a perfect pass to Don Loon, and it looks as if the Packers are on the move. Another aerial in the making as Jacobs heaves goalward, but McHugh promptly intercepts to stem the tide. Here's a payoff play. Jacobs fading back to pass. Loon, the right end, breaks into the end zone, and it's a touchdown for the Packers. The Eagles start to move downfield on this sweep around left end, which nets 21 yards. Mixing his plays well, Thompson calls on a short pass to Pihos. It's completed and then some as Pete zigzags his way downfield for 26 yards. In a burst of speed, Van Buren blasts over for an Eagle score, and it's all tied 7-7. Back come the Packers in quest of another score. Jacobs heaves to Loon. From the 12-yard line, Jacobs is passing again for the Packers. He's almost trapped, but finally gets it off. Clyde Goodnight makes the catch, and Goodnight, what a catch! Here's a play, and what a play! Thompson connects to Pete Pehos, and watch him break away from one would-be tackler, and look at the downfield support. Just count those Eagles out front to help him go 67 yards. The Packers go to the air, but into the picture steps Ernie Steele to halt the play with a 34-yard run back as the Eagles go on to win 28-14 and to tie the Pitt Steelers for the Eastern title. Forbes Field in Pittsburgh is filled to capacity for the playoff game, and it's the Eagles who steal the show and walk off with the title. At the 20-yard line, the Steelers are forced to kick on 4th down. Bob Cypher's kick is blocked by Pehos, and the Eagles take possession. Once within range of the goal line, the Eagles can't be stopped as Van Buren takes Thompson's pass, and watch Steve hurdle himself into scoring territory. Thompson is throwing the pigskin with deadly accuracy in this all-important game. Ferrante has it and goes over with 2 Steelers on his back for the Eagles' second touchdown. Here looks, and what a way to finish the game. Pritchard takes Cypher's kick and watch him go, 78 yards in all, and the Eagles go on to win the Eastern title and the right to meet the Chicago Cardinals for the World's Championship. In Chicago, the eyes of the sporting world are focused on the playoff game of the Football League. The Chicago Cardinals, winners of the Western Division, meet the Philadelphia Eagles, Eastern title holders. Cardinals ball. As if shot from a cannon, Charlie Trippi breaks through the line, and he's off on a 44-yard... Still on the offensive, the Cards send Pat Harder into the line for 3 yards. Hold on to your hats, for Elmer Angsman bolts through the line, and he's off for a touchdown 69 yards away. Pat McHugh tries to catch him and does, but it's too late as Angsman goes over the goal line, and it's 14-0 in favor of the Cards. Now it's the Eagles' turn. Thompson starts eating aerial bombs. The first is complete to Ferrante for a 10-yard gain to start a late first-half drive. With 15 seconds remaining in the first half, Thompson heaves skyward, and it's a perfect toss to McHugh, who is touchdown bound to put the Eagles back in the game 14-7. In the second half, the Eagles are forced to kick. Muha kicks. And here's Charlie Trippi on a 75-yard run for a touchdown. Watch him go, and what a run, the longest of the game. All the way for another 6 points for those high-flying Cardinals. The Eagles open up with their spread formation. Thompson connects to Ferrante, and it's good for 24 yards. Here's a sample of what made Thompson great. His receivers temporarily covered. Thompson runs to the right, and then he lets it go for a strike to Ferrante. What a play! From the spread again, Thompson spots Ferrante wide open, and it's another completion as the Eagles move into scoring position. Van Buren on this play won't be stopped, and it's a touchdown for the Eagles, but they now trail 21-14. The Cardinals explode again as Angsman on a quick opening play rips through the line and sprints 70 yards for the final Cardinal touchdown. Van Buren into the line, and he's inches short of the goal. Kraft tries the right side, and he is held to no gain. This time, Kraft plunges over for the Eagles' last score. And when the final gun goes off, it's the Cardinals' ball game, 28-21. And now that you have seen the highlights of the Eagles' 1947 football season, why not make plans to watch the 1948 Eagles in action at Shibe Park? Buy your season tickets now. Be sure of a seat for every one of the 6 home games in 1948. Choice locations now available at the Eagles ticket office, 22 South 17th Street, Philadelphia.